Brenda's sitting by the window pane, lost her husband, lost her name. Government's hands, they took her kin, but they'll never take her spirit's grin. CPS came knocking at her door, took her babies, left her sore. But Brenda's heart, it ain't for sale. She'll fight back, she will prevail. Oh, Brenda, keep on rising high through the tears under troubled sky. Life ain't easy, the road's so rough, but love is stronger, love's enough. Empty rooms, memories linger there, echoes of laughter, whispers of care. She plants hope in each day's light. In the darkest hours, she finds her fight. Neighbors pass, they cast their glance. Whispers say she don't stand a chance. But Brenda's dreams, they never fade. In her eyes, the dawn's parade. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain. Sun will shine through clouds and rain. She'll mend the broken, salve the pain. For every loss, there's a new gain. Through every downfall, she'll remain.
Good morning. New morning, same fight is what they say, hey? Okay, well, I'm taking it down a notch a little bit today. I got a little excited yesterday. I apologize. Apologize, guys. That's me. That's me in a nutshell. Okay, so I'm wondering, what the focus should be today on the show, but I was talking to my husband, Chris. It was possible that he was thinking about calling during the time of my show. Of course, if any of y'all have been watching my stuff, knowing that he was incarcerated because of the same judge, Judge Jennifer Johnson, that took my children initially in 2016, feels threatened by a cartoon post on YouTube and TikTok that still is there for everyone to view, but my husband is locked up in prison now on a 15-year sentence, which doesn't make sense to anybody. And like I say, we need a Trump bump or something, because it's gone. Just when you think things can't get any worse, Sure enough, they do. I mean, at least, he had his freedom. Um, but my children don't, and that's the thing. We've been talking about to different people, a lot of different people. I mean, Dixie County, Florida, and the Third Circuit is very corrupt. I ended up having to spend 34 days in there past June because they were trying to set me up on a charge that it's just unbelievable. They're at the only reason I believe we have been attacked so hard by the Third Circuit in Dixie County is they have a lot to hide about the corruption that's going on with child trafficking. I mean, when I was, it seems like to me, putting me or my husband sit in Dixie County Jail to talk to the inmates that are in there, that most of them are in there on bullshit crimes as well. Most of those incarcerated people had their children taken away. So doesn't that seem very coincidental that this would happen to me and my husband? I mean, seeing that he ran for sheriff, and how can we shut this guy up? I mean, we will not be erased, and because that's what's trying to happen. Because do you see anything like this? Crazy shit that's going on. Do you see it even on a local news channel over there in like Gainesville, Florida? I mean, we need to start getting this word out to some major media outlets. So, and Chris, what his intention would to do was to attract attention to this child trafficking. So we have to band together and get behind him and do what we can to help, because we're not even sure at this point if the attorney that we paid a lot of money to is doing the job we hired for him to do. In fact, it ended up being the worst possible scenario that could ever happen. But to get back to, talking to these different inmates and things like this, you know, it's no coincidence that, these other families have been torn apart as well. And I'm just wondering if you can just look at the what do you call it? The news. What's going on now in the news? What are the things that have happened? I mean, what happened in your family since your children were taken? Don't you think that things would go a lot better for this country if they gave us our children back? Do you think that California would be burning? Do you think there'd be even peace in the Middle East? I'm sorry to say. I mean, all these things were things that I know my husband Chris was very passionate about, of what's going on in Israel. He went down there at some point trying to help with a peace plan. He has all the stuff written up. He was given advisories and stuff how to reduce these mass shootings across the country. I'm talking about reports and reports, piles and piles of stuff I have of Chris's work that he started during the Clinton administration. And like myself, when I had an idea, or he has an idea, or I have a prayer, I like to take it to the top dog, which is God. And as far as getting some type of employment for Chris, he felt the top person would have been talk to the president at that time when Clinton was in administration. He said something like, if you have a certain goal, like, don't ever give up. Just don't ever give up. And that's Chris. We did it. I mean, later on, I can tell you that towards the end of the administration, or when all that stuff went down with President Clinton, I mean, we were the ones out there in the streets with our 3 oldest kids holding our signs, impeach the creep and all that. I mean, we've been active in this type of thing for a while, which makes me think is how long have we really been a target? How long have we been a target for these other things? Like if Chris is applying for Department of Justice programs and trying to get a job or some type of what do they have, those grants and stuff like that, or if he had the FBI come to the house or whatever. When you apply for an FBI position, they're going to come to your house and you're going to ask a lot of questions. They're going to go to all your family and ask all them questions. And then you might as well say pretty much not long after that, we started having, Department of Children and Families in our life. I can tell you, it was nearly right after, Christopher decided to run for legislator in the state of Maine. And with my my youngest child, when he ran the second time, it was it was my Sage. She was just like, I had that picture posted a while back. We were going on, the Fox News radio over there in Bangor, Maine, and so getting the stuff out there. And it seems like that is a good way to get a platform, is to run for office, right? To hopefully take your analysis, your ideas of how to better, be it the country, be it the place where you live, the state where you live, whatever. And that's your avenue to get in the door. But they don't want to, it seems to me, okay, so far throughout all these years, you can think about all the way back from what, 1990 something, okay, been in this to win it. I mean, we've proven to be probably the best parents in the country, not to put any of y'all down over there, but when you've homeschooled all your kids and the three oldest are doctors or graduated top of your class, it makes you think, if this could happen to us, well, have your kids taken away, it could happen to anyone. And I'm sorry to say, I had no idea what was coming my way when this happened to us. So my first thought was, I had regional counsel at that time, and so all my problems really began in Florida after we moved there from New Hampshire to Florida. When Chris ran for sheriff, I mean, it seemed like before that, a lot of strange things was going on. And the thing is when you're thinking yourself to be paranoid or something like that. Oh, you're walking down the street and the cops are just like driving along slowly, like following you. You think, oh, yeah, is this a blow it off? Somebody's gonna say I'm paranoid, but I can tell you the truth, guys. I've talked about it before. You've been targeted. I've been targeted. I happen to have a copy of a false fusion exchange bulletin, and it's a law enforcement sensitive bulletin. The law enforcement surely works with Department of Children and Families to help in the aid of kidnapping children and ruining lives, tearing families apart. So, what can we do about it? What can we? I was just thinking of doing a show with that shows all the current events. That's the word I was looking for earlier. The current events that's going on in the country, and to say, hey, leaders, or hey, whoever can be the savior to rescue all of us and all of our families. Look at this. Look at what has happened since this child trafficking has become repetitively worse throughout the years. I mean, like we saying, maybe we weren't looking at all the facts and figures from way back then because we weren't involved with it, but now we are. And now, since more and more people are involved, it seems to me that they wanted to get a lot of children stole right before Trump got into office too. So Essentially, when Chris ran for sheriff in 2016, he's on the ballot with Donald Trump at the same time. And that's what I think. This was the opportune time for little Dixie County, whatever they got going up with the higher up. Let's lock these two up. Let's lock Brenda and Chris Cameron up. Let's set them up, frame them over a little bit of marijuana, and that will shut them up. Okay, let's take their kids. That will shut them up. Um, and it probably shut us up for a little while. I mean, when we were going through our case plan and stuff. So it's kind of weird to sit back and think, okay, well, I'm watching, like, especially like Vinny's case and stuff like that, because there's a lot of similarities to his and ours. I don't know all his details, but looking at it from another's perspective, he was speaking out for his whole case. Okay, he's been, um, contacting everybody, not shutting up. Okay, and we did the opposite. Okay, they made it a point from the beginning of the hearings we had, be it going to court on the criminal cases or going to court on the civil matter of my forfeiture of the Jeep Patriot that we had. Um, and just look at those different factors of, where was the breaking point that they like, okay, well, these people, they're saying a lot of stuff, and what if somebody sees this? You know what? I can tell you the truth. The only people that were looking at Chris's stuff on YouTube or TikTok is law enforcement. So it's very disheartening, and that's why I wanted to, noticing in the chat there, I want to be more of a person that if I have some knowledge, I definitely would like to share it with you. If there's any way that we could help each other along the way, because I know Kim talks a lot about this, because we're getting to the point where, parents can't take this anymore. It's just like, you have to be a very strong person to be able to get through this. And if you don't have the support of like most of your family when you're going through this, like say your sister or your brother, or in my case, my mom and dad have actually, my dad passed away. So when I was incarcerated in Charlotte County, Florida, and he'll never, they'll never be able to see the children again. I mean, it's a sad situation because you lose family members, yeah. But I mean, I didn't have too many people to turn to, and I always think maybe, God leads me to certain people, and I believe that He led me to this show. Okay, so um, like I say, my family members were dwindling because they don't want to. I'd say for my older two, they don't want to be have their lives jeopardized. I have a grandson that I didn't even know about from my oldest son, that was too afraid to keep in contact with me, my husband, or my middle son that has been with us every step of the way. So we have to look at what the damage is to parents and make sure that they're able to get through this with the support of other parents of victims, if they're not going to have the support from their families, which a lot of times I'm sure a lot of you or your families have had questions. What, like my sister would say, Brenda, you must have did something wrong. You had your kids taken away. There, you have to eat there. It's bullshit. She didn't realize the problem. But then she started, like, she lives up in Ohio, and she started looking at they have these tent cities over there in Ohio, and she's looking at the fact that people were living in tents with children, and they were able to keep their kids. So it's like, what? And she had some, similar situations with her oldest son, who actually be 40 at this point. I mean, my oldest kids, me and Chris been together so long. It's like we decided to have Sage and Chris later in life because we were missing the fact of, having kids running around the house. Our kids were off to pre-med, and Chris was so sad to see his children, even though he's happy for them, to see them off as adults. We decided to have a couple more kids later in life. And I was pushing 35 when I had my last two. So, in fact, I think I was 35. But in any case, um, it was like I had another litter of kids or something, because my oldest two weren't in the children's life a lot, but my middle son was, and he was always there to help with the children. Not that we asked him to, it's just like we were such a tight-knit family that when we went to the grocery store, we were all going together. We're just like, oh, here comes the Camerons. If we have a doctor appointment, guess what? We're all coming. And that's just the way it was. It's just like we never really thought of doing things separately. We always did with things with our kids. And so it's like I've been writing that JFK, what do you call it, that email that I think Gunnar gave that information a while ago. And I'm going to go back and look at some of the other emails, because I think there's other people that we could contact. And if we can get, certain stories that are like high profile cases and stuff like that out, even if it's a criminal case, it might shed some light to what's going on with our kids. And that's why me and Chris were hoping to be the cornerstone of an event that would trigger the release of our families. And we thought maybe we had a, constitutional law attorney that was going to help us with that. But it doesn't seem like he's put in his 100%. And I'm sorry to say, I mean, there's been a lack of communication, and this is the first time I could have bought a house for the amount of money that was given to this attorney. And I mean, I've never had a high opinion of attorneys my whole life, but I mean, Chris's family, his dad was best friends with a judge, and we always showed respect to judges. And I believed that they deserved that respect. But when they're breaking these violations and breaking the law, and they're not being checked, I mean, didn't that little interview with Pam Bondi that's being sworn in or whatever, doesn't that tell you that no one is above the law? And this is what they're saying. But hello, Pam Bondi. Nice that you're getting into this wonderful position, because I've been ringing her line since 2016 or whenever this started. And in fact, I've probably been calling before that, and maybe that was a problem. And that's the thing, is this like, I guess I'm old fashioned that way. I like to confront somebody straightforward and get them on the phone, get them on a video call, and just find out what exactly is going on and what's not going on. Not these calls that you're making and say, oh, sure, we're taking it down. And you can hear them typing away. They're typing all this information in. Be it the assistants for these senators or congressmen or whoever you're trying to get a hold of. Maybe it's not their fault. Maybe it is. Who knows? Who knows where that line is drawn, that people are stopping this from getting any attention. I know now that I'm in Louisiana, that Senator Kennedy seems to be a pretty good senator, saying anybody has any troubles, just give us a holler. What About Josh Hawley? he's all for everybody's rights and everything like this, but it's like it's a deaf ear to us that have been in it and been, fighting for a better country. I mean, Chris's family fought the duration of the Revolutionary War. His ancestors were known to be the most outspoken in that war. And I think he has carried on that legacy of not just holding things in, just to, let loose whatever you have to let loose. If you want to create it within a film, maybe just to bring a certain attention, because how much attention do these movies get where ladies are running around in their underwear being slashed, and what do you want to call the Jason movies or whatever, and all these different movies. But somehow that's okay because it's not a well-known filmmaker that has access to millions of dollars already and stuff like that. If a filmmaker that doesn't have money, they're deciding to use YouTube as their platform to get some stuff out. I mean, Chris was doing it ever since I can remember. I mean, I guess let me see, probably about the early 2000s, and using YouTube as a broadcasting network. We never wrote back and forth with anybody, socializing with anybody. Chris didn't even consider it a social media platform, but that's what it's turned into. But in his mind, that's not his intent, to have conversations with anybody else, and to just post this stuff and get it out there. And you can look at the views, whether they're messing with the numbers or whatever like that. But it seems like the most recent things he's done on the internet since the children were taken, which isn't very much stuff at all, because he's going into way depression, just crawling into a little hole and letting all this consume him, or doing anything he can to keep his mind off of the reality of what's going on, because some people don't have the ability to take it. Like, I know there's some people that fight all day long, do paperwork all day long, but I'm telling you guys, that's good that we have people out there doing this, but you always have to take time for yourself, and it's very important for your mental health. And keep active with your physical health too, because like, whether I know it's cold outside right now, people don't want to go out and go for a walk, but I mean, studies show by doing these certain things, it could keep your mind from deteriorating, dementia. And also now we have substances like marijuana that are helping Alzheimer patients and things like that. And it's pretty ironic that the same substance of marijuana was really the reason that my kids were taken in the first place. So it's something that could help people now was actually hurting people back then. So anyways, according to law enforcement, they want to have that control. The government wants to have the control over what you do, what you say, and it's always the words that are coming out of our mouth that seems to be the problem, okay? But in my opinion, there'd be a lot less problems in this country and in this world if our children were returned. Now, I haven't really been looking into what's been going on with P. Diddy and all that, but being that my case was in Florida and my children actually disappeared during all these times that they're looking back to what P. Diddy was doing and stuff like that. And it's kind of strange, because once I seen my daughter in 2019, after she was I don't know, this is before they adopted my children out. They snuck behind our backs almost and adopted my children out to strangers. While I was, again, they want to lock us up. They want to lock us up. It's either me or Chris they're locking up. For what reason are they locking us up? Think about it. In fact, when I tried to rescue my daughter, this was all over. I mean, all you got to do, if you want to see the fake media, you get on that and you type in Sage Cambron. You'll see what happened in May of 2019. And at this point, I wouldn't have changed anything about doing what I did to try to help my daughter. It's not that, I didn't believe I was breaking the law. I thought, well, they're breaking the law because my daughter's in deplorable conditions. The only time she ever even gets out of the house was just to jump on the bus and go to school. And since she's autistic, I'm not forgetting about my son, Chris. I can tell you that. Okay. He's not forgotten at all. I talk a lot about Sage because she is the last one that I was able to see. Because of my daring rescue attempts. But I can tell you that after doing that, I wouldn't change it for the world, having 2 beautiful days with my daughter that I didn't have. But I might have changed the direction I was going. But in my mind, I thought, well, I had a son, their older sibling, that was approved and certified for placement through ICPC, passed the home study and everything, and was approved to adopt his siblings in Louisiana. But what happened is they adopted him out to strangers while I was locked up in Shirley County Jail, Florida. And as far as I've looked up about this, is they need to keep in contact with the family as to what is exactly going on with your children at that point. At least, I guess they don't have to tell you who they were adopted out to. But of course, it's going to be a closed adoption. That means you ain't going to be able to find shit, crap, or anything about that later. And boy, it's just like you get to a point where it's just like at a loss for words. And my short-term memory is not so great. Like I say, I was telling you guys yesterday, I have a little trouble keeping focused on one subject because it's almost like I have so much in my mind. I want to spit it all out at once, and that's why I was thinking when, you do contact these senators or congressmen or whoever you think might help. Like now we're trying to focus on Trump's administration and things like this. But it's hard to keep it short and to the point of what we are hoping to achieve, but some way you got to do that. You got to scrunch it all down and just hope there's some certain words or certain things that are going to catch their attention. Because I mean, how many people do you think are emailing and trying to contact, this new administration? And it gets down to the fact is who you know, who you blow. It's really sad situation. It's really sad. But again, to get back to that, your mental health through this is very important. I mean, take it from me. I have my 3 oldest kids are doctors. In fact, my older daughter is a psychiatrist, but you can't let this stuff consume you, okay? Because your kids would want you well-minded so that you can continue to do everything you can in order to find, locate, or seek justice for these crimes that are committed against our families and our children. So I myself, I've always approached it in legal aspect. If somebody is doing me wrong, I'm going to take it through the courts, however, or whatever that situation may be. I know that I seems like it all went from bad to worse after I got out of prison, because the fact that while I was there, I was able to read the discoveries from my Charlotte County case, which I ended up seeing. What I say? Documents that were in my dependency case. These are documents that were never presented to me, before trial, our TPR trial. There was an evaluation, a psychological evaluation that was done on my daughter, a neuropsychological evaluation of Brook Forest in Fort Myers, and she stated that my daughter needs to be in contact with me for social, emotional, and behavioral well-being. So if that is something that was supposed to get to the judge ASAP, okay? It says it on there. So I'm thinking, whoa, well, isn't this something? Okay. Wouldn't that be enough to reopen my case with the children and say, hey, these evaluations that were held back because the Department of Children and Families didn't like what they were saying, didn't want the children to be with family. I mean, they're more of a hindrance. They're more of a barrier for us to get reunifications. And I believe that there's nobody that was in at least our case that was had any intent on reunifying my children with me or my husband. In fact, it was more like Trump would say, more like a witch hunt. What can we find on these individuals that we can go and try to make a false claim against you and your family or whatever? How can we ruin your life even more than you already have? I mean, wow, these are some evil people, and that's why another thing I would recommend to keep on board. I mean, I don't know what your higher entity is, but like I say, I believe in God, and I believe in prayer, and I believe that God has shown me plenty of signs throughout all these years that there is hope. Okay, and there is, and I don't know, Darren this morning, I don't know who he was talking to on the phone or whatever. I heard a voice saying I had this weird dream. I can tell you, not long after my and I can't even remember if it was before my kids were taken or after, okay? But it was around that time, around 2016, where I had this dream about Donald Trump, okay? And at the time, I can tell you a whole long story, but I recommend that people don't, excuse my French, fuck with me, because I've seen people that have fucked with me. I'm sorry, that God has control over these things. It's not me that's controlling this. That something bad is then going to end up happening to you. I don't know. Some people might say it's karma. Whatever word you're going to use, it's going to come back at you. Okay, these evil people that is brought from Satan himself, that come to harm families that are perfectly good and capable of taking care of their children, and then they decide, hey, we're going to take your children. Looks like all they're seeing is money signs in their eyes. That's pretty hard to believe. That's really hard to believe that this is the case. And again, the question is, this is America? Because it would seem like it's worse than a third world country. And if I got to see one more fucking news report about children that were illegally, families were coming over the border, and then those children end up missing, I'm sorry for you, but hey, shouldn't American children be first? Our children are stolen. stolen through Child Protective Services. Now, isn't that a weird name that they are going to give these people that would take and harm our children? I mean, where did it all fall apart? Or was it a broken thing to begin with? You know? Yeah, fuck CPS. I like that one. Okay. If you have questions for Brenda, hey, nobody's got any questions for me. Everybody's sleeping on a Friday morning. Good for you. Okay, because I woke up early and then I took a little snooze and I'm back up. My husband Chris was talking about maybe being part of the show today through his voice, and since we don't have video contact right now, and just saying a few words. But he had said he had a doctor appointment. He also has some cold or something going on, which is another problem to me. I'm sitting in my house, me and my husband, minding our own business, besides doing a few things here and there on the internet. And we're never getting sick. I never get sick anymore. Never, ever, ever. I haven't been sick. I can't remember the last time. I mean, I was sick with like some natural flu or whatever that's going around. I don't get the shots either. He said, oh, wow. You guys, I just put this together while I'm sitting here. He got the pneumonia shot and the flu shot. Now he's sick. I told him. I say, I don't know. This is why I don't do it. I don't know. Y'all have your opinion. I mean, doctors have to do it because they are who they are. They had to take that COVID shot as well. And I found that my son was getting sick when he took that as well. So he was a doctor. But in any case, people were losing their jobs over not taking these shots. Doctors were. I seen that. But like I say, it's all about them wanting to control our actions, our words, and taking away our liberties. I had a nice letter from Ron Paul. Okay, he ran for president that one time when we were living in outside of Bangor, Maine. And we met him. I had Darren, I ought to give you that. We have pictures of Chris, and I think he's got maybe some type of film of shaking Ron Paul's hand. He's wearing his Captain America coat, and Ron Paul was. They still have that liberty. What is it? Some kind of liberty thing. And I had been in contact with all these people, and the other day I pulled out this letter that we wrote to that Michael Cohen guy that was Trump's attorney, because I can tell you guys, and I don't know if there's any type of connection here, but it seems pretty strange because I was talking to this guy from like 2014, 2015 on, and before Trump was elected to office, and I sent a letter, and Chris sent Chris's words and his resume through Michael Cohen to forward to Trump. And in the event that if you have an advisor that is top on, exposing these different crimes within our legal system and has ideas of how to reduce terrorism across the country, do you think you might want to use this person? I mean, some people have gifts. I mean, God forbid, if I had a gift, I would hope that it'd be like in the stock market or something where I can make a lot of money. But Chris's gift seemed to be with analyzing and using a probability analysis to figure out these situations and how to reduce, especially, I'm telling you, he was an expert on these mass shootings. Okay. So, but then they'll end up turning around and saying, okay, well, you're the terrorist, because that's what it leads to. These false threat tags they put on people. And even if the law enforcement wasn't a bad person to begin with, they're going to look at something that law enforcement or the higher ups, the Department of Justice, have let them know that they think we're some type of threat. Then that law enforcement is going to take that for their word, even though these things aren't established in a court of law, and they're not for our viewing. they keep it a secret because what did that first bulletin say? And if you okay, I can tell you what it said. Anti-law enforcement and anti-government, any dealings with these individuals, do not lose your posture with them and always be more than one officer. So lose your posture with them. Do y'all know what that means? If somebody wanted to look it up, that's fine. If you don't, I can tell you what it means. It means let's keep it our little secret, okay? Don't let them know that they have this false threat tag on them because we can continue to ruin their life without them knowing. But I tell you, it didn't help me at all in any respect by knowing, because I'm probably still in the same position that I would have been not knowing. But again, I thought that was another avenue. Like this false bulletin, I think that's what the judge was afraid of. This judge that is now put my husband in jail for 15 or prison in 15 years because she's so paranoid that she has to be looking over her shoulder, and she has to be worried about her children, showing pictures of my husband to her children and saying, if you ever see this guy run in the other direction, my husband has never had any violent conviction at all. Never has been violent his whole life. Okay. He's very calm person. He may talk loud when he gets passionate about a certain subject. He may be loud, but again, that's his voice. Okay. He's voicing whatever he wants to voice. That's our constitutional right to be able to do that. And we kind of look at the reality of who's really breaking the law here. Okay. The people that would fight for their children. These are the people that are being locked up and put away. And that's the reality of it. It's not that you did anything wrong. You didn't kill anybody. You didn't threaten anybody. That's what's weird about this to me, because how you feel threatened over a cartoon, yet or me, little old lady, I mean, they're threatened by my words as well. They tried to turn it around on me and put me in prison again, as if I haven't done enough, as if our life hasn't been ruined enough. But the reality is they're trafficking children. We were exposing that. My husband used to be a private investigator, okay, and though he was licensed and bonded when we lived in Maine, but not anymore. Maine has sent all this false information to Dixie County Sheriff's Department. I flashed up the bulletin the other day. God forbid if I do anything wrong, they'll take it to heart. I think it's probably be better for me to be on a different platform than my own, because they are threatened by anything we do on YouTube or TikTok or anything like that, and they'll censor everything we do. And it's sad. It's really a sad situation that maybe like you say, maybe there's good foster parents out there, and there's good judges out there, I'm sure. But in any profession, you're going to have some bad apples. And like anybody knows, if you leave that bad apple in with a bag of other apples that are good, eventually it's gonna rub off on them, and they're gonna start getting that rot all over them, and they're gonna do it that way. But I can tell you, maybe I should have turned the volume up on that. I don't know if Chris was going to try to call, but I was, hey, Tamil, I'm going to type a little bit. And yeah, I try to do this as well. I mean, gosh forbid, Danielle, she's really good at looking at all the comments and answering everybody. But we'll get better at it as we go along. I'm ready to do like another show. Like should we all get together and do like a show tomorrow before the inauguration or something like that? Or I know they have these one channels that do the like a lot inauguration live, and then everybody's in the chat talking about this or that. I mean, how can we bring more attention to this horrific problem that's going on across the country? Because I can tell you guys, whatever I did throughout all these years, I always end up in back to square one. Okay. I end up back to square one, but that doesn't mean, we're going to give up. I mean, there's highs and lows, right? And that's what I don't like is like, okay, I'll get excited. Okay. Get excited. Somebody's filing this and I'm going to do everything I can to get this stuff in. Like that Connie Goli or whatever, she was doing something a while back, and it was something on, what was that platform that you had to fill it out there? And even though I filled out and it was very well, the form was really well put out. I wish I would have printed it out, but after it was sent like electronically, I was never able to get back to that. And this, because there's got to be a place, okay, you're going to put your case number here, you're going to briefly have these different descriptions, and you can put all these different people's names. And I have had a big trouble with organizing since all this has happened. And I had my head split open in 2019 when I was sitting in a jail in Louisiana. And it's really difficult for me to complete tasks now. I mean, I went from appealing the children's case to the U.S. Supreme Court, and I did it all by hand. I can tell you that, and I've gone to an office that has paperwork scattered everywhere and no organization whatsoever. And that's what these CPS and Department of Children and Families, they're hoping for. They could somehow get something like this to happen so that we don't have the abilities to help ourselves. So and then it gets harder and harder, especially thinking you're alone. But when I got, let me see, it's about 2021, I started getting on Facebook. Okay, I'd never been on Facebook before ever. And the only reason Chris had like a Facebook account is to connect with some people from high school, maybe, or something like that. No big deal. Again, he's not a big person with social media yet. I mean, YouTube became bigger at social media, and now what do we have? We have people that are being censored, people that they feel are a threat, so they want to just wipe them off the internet altogether. How are we going to get this guy off the internet? We're going to throw him in prison. But the thing is that the only escape avenue that he was doing, he was playing games on the internet. That's pretty much it. You guys look on his TikTok post as how much he had been doing in the past, even 5 years. It's really nothing compared to, what he was doing before the children were taken. So think about that, okay? That we had no problems with child protective service, whatever. It's all about who you're trying to expose and how bad these people really are, that they would stretch their neck out to make your world, your life, a living hell. So, hey, Debbie, how's it going? Y'all guys are keeping it mellow today. That's good because, Brenda, Brenda got very excited yesterday. I thought I was going on a trip yesterday, and then Charles Lincoln, the third, or whatever it is. I mean, he's a very good constitutional law attorney. He doesn't have his law license to practice now, but I think he would have been a good asset in Chris's case. But I had an attorney that didn't want to work with him, so it's curious having somebody so good at a certain element of Chris's case and to not use what you freely had before you. So, I mean, maybe a more out of the box thinker, okay? But aren't we all? Aren't we all like that? Have lost our kids. We're kind of out of the box thinkers, and I think the attorney that I had that I thought was more out of the box maybe is in the box. But we'll see. We'll see. And like I say, I think I just got to pray about it. Maybe take some of y'all's advice as to how to move forward with Chris's case, because it's getting down to the point where the motion for a new trial never was submitted. Now they're giving me some yappity yap from that office is that, oh, it's probably it's better in the situation just to go straight to appeal. Well, I'm sorry, because as far as the information I have is that if you didn't bring something up during the original trial, you're not going to have the opportunity to point these things out at an appeal. So you guys are testament to see what the heck happens with Chris's case, because I mean, it's the worst possible scenario for somebody that was just minding his own business, messing with his computer, and doing a couple things to draw some attention to his channel, and then this. Okay, so there's more to it than meets the eye if some outsider is looking in. Because the fact is that we're losing not only our children, but we're losing our rights to our freedoms of speech and freedom of speech under entertainment. Okay, that I mean, it's clearly stated. It's clearly stated on his channel. This is what it states, guys. If you go to his YouTube thing, which God forbid everybody that's listening out there that is trying to take me down, I'm not recommending anybody go look at Chris's stuff, okay? But if you do, you'll see that it says this channel is for entertainment purposes only. Anybody that thinks this is real ought to get their head examined. So why don't y'all that believe that it's something more than that, please heed the advice, get your head examined, because what you're doing to families and children and veterans is just not right. It's just not right. Okay. Well, hello. In any case, I thought maybe that was Chris, but it wasn't. So I'm getting a lot of spam calls. I was trying to see if like maybe I could help with Chris's legal bills by obtaining a job. Now, here's another problem I've come across, guys. I mean, since my kids were taken, I had several criminal charges thrown at me, and I'm not a felon. So when I go to apply for a job, most people are going to ask, are you a felon? And if you are, why? Should we get into the big story, the big picture? I mean, when I went there to interview the other day at the college, and this, mind you, this is just for maybe, who knows, maybe doing dishes or working in the cafeteria over there at the college, which is a walking distance from my house. I told him straight up, this is a story. I mean, this is what happened, and the CPS is a big problem in this country, and I'm not the only one out there that have had their lives destroyed by this. And I would take credit where credit was due. If I was breaking the law for not a good reason, I will own up to it. Yeah, I'll own up to the fact that I had a little bit of marijuana on me in 2016. but I don't think that constituted taking my children away. Locking both me and my husband up when my husband had nothing to do with that either. But I don't know, where are we guys at? I wanted to get back to, what were they saying, something on Fox News today? Oh, this is what it was, guys, is that Trump is getting like office for the Hollywood people or whatever. It's going to have Mel Gibson. It's going to have Sylvester Stallone, and can't remember the other guy's name. I remember his face though. But in any case, maybe this would be a good approach to try to reach out to those famous people. I mean, you look back at Sylvester Stallone's family life, okay? He has a very tragic story about his son that passed away. And you know who else has a tragic story about their son passing away is John Travolta. And coincidentally, his son's name was Sage. When I named my daughter Sage, I thought it was a good girl's name, but in any case, I wish we had some avenue, guys, to get into these actors that have been, speaking out. Mel Gibson's a good example. I mean, a lot of people might call him crazy. He reminds me a lot of my husband, I'm sorry to say. But even though, like, I can tell he's got the same post-traumatic stress disorder, whatever is going on with him when he speaks. And I mean, you got to give some of these guys credit for sticking their neck out. Who's the other person that stuck their neck out about issues like this? I mean, it's gotten us nowhere so far, guys, but I mean, we got to make that big push. I mean, we got a change going on in the administration. Oh, I got to get back to, okay, guys, this is the dream I had. I'm so sorry that I went off on something else, but my dream is that I was in like a big empty area. You know how like sometimes they'll use these church community centers or something like that, turn it into a bingo hall. Okay, this is the type of situation I'm talking about. They have a bunch of empty tables there and say it's not being used at that time. My dream is I was in this place, I'm standing there, Trump walks up to me, gives me a kiss on the cheek. In the dream, I'm starting to go and start talking about my husband. And wanted to tell him who we were, just wanted to let him know, hey, I'm a mom that homeschool doctors, blah, 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 all this stuff happened. But, in my mind, in the dream, that's what I was thinking. But he kissed me on the cheek, and I just got that feeling just from that interaction is that I didn't have to worry. Trump is there, and everything's going to be okay. And I just watched him walk out. Like, I didn't even see anybody else. Like, usually if you see Trump for real, he's going to have national security, whatever. He's going to have the security fucking personnel around him. And Chris would have made, he was law enforcement specialist Air Force. He would have been a great person for Secret Service. Would have been a great pick, and on anything dealing with national security, because some people just got the knack to do certain things, and that will never change. I mean, God has put us all here for a reason, and God has brought us together for a reason. Okay. And I've been trying to push out as much as I can this show, and just sharing it with everybody that I could think of. And I know there's a lot of parents that they're kind of in it, but they have to go to work. They got to pay the bills. I mean, there's a reality that some people just can't sit back and rake in these monies from Social Security and the food stamps and stuff like that. But, could have that possibly been our problem in the first place, guys, is the problem with being in that income bracket where you're relying on food stamps, and well, my husband got Social Security at that time, but is that put a target on our back? I think so, because they know, like, we can't afford attorneys, and we're going to be thrown into some um, um, public counsel, or whatever you want to call it, and we're going to have to just take what we can get. And you might go through, like, I don't know how it was in our case with Chris. I mean, it was like it was attorney after attorney, like, through the dependency case. I'm trying to think. I think it was 4, if not 5, on the dependency case. I don't know what the reasoning was behind it. Like, why is all this sudden? Because Chris is never confronting people or anything. That he's like the quiet little mouse just sitting in the background. He wants to be heard, yet he wants to make sure he's heard by the right people. Okay, because being heard by these wrong people, it seems like only to get us in more more of a situation that we could ever imagine. But anyways, I wanted this to be more exciting show. Maybe it's because it's too early in the morning. Everybody's tired this morning. Is that right? My grandson will come to the appointment today. What's going on, Debbie? So Debbie, do you still got access? I mean, to your grandchildren? Are you able to have visitation? What's going on there? Oh, she says I'm doing a good job. Well, thank you so much. I just feel tired this morning. I think I got up like I don't know. Seems like I've been going to bed early because I fall asleep on the couch here, and I know the last show that CPS Hunting for Justice did yesterday evening, I was already sleeping, and then I noticed, oh shoot, the show's on. I typed a couple things and I fell right back to sleep. So I don't know why I'm so tired, because it seems like I'm getting enough rest, but I did wake up like at just before 6 this morning, my time. So guys, I'm sorry if I'm going along on the show, because I'm in a different time zone than you, so I always get confused. Okay, so we started this at 9:30. So we just 9:30 for me. So we're just in it for like not even a half hour yet. Why does it seem like an eternity, guys? Oh, you're in Oregon. Well, that's one place I've never been. In fact, I don't even know where that is on the map. That's west, right? So what time zone are you in, Tamil? I'm central, and of course I always gotta deduct an hour every time, because now I have so many dealings with Florida, which is the East Coast, that I can remember. So there's other times where I took the well, he used to be a CPS supervisor, and he was the CPS supervisor up until I think I tried to rescue my daughter, probably until the end of 2019. And he's the one that. Who is it?
Yolanda,
Hello?
Brenda, I just wanted to correct you. You've been on for an hour and 7 minutes, so that's why you feel tired. But
Okay.
sorry to interrupt, but continue on.
No, but I probably should wrap it up, but now this is my problem. This is why I interrupt people, because if I don't continue my thought, I'll forget what I was saying. But and okay, oh, I see. She's at 8 a.m. over there. Okay. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, how is that happening? What? So, wait, am I? What? Okay, whatever. I'm not gonna get into that. But okay, so that I remember what I was talking about. So this CPS supervisor, by the name of Jason Katz. When me and my daughter went missing in 2019, he was there, which is how many miles? It's like a 7-hour drive from where he's located to Charlotte County, Florida, where this took place, where my daughter was subject to this torture. But he happens to be there to talk to law enforcement and trying to give them some background about me and my husband. Oh Lord, don't get me started. I mean, one day I'll pull out this fucking file, my discoveries from Charlotte County, and let you know what this guy was saying, and it's just unfreaking believable. He was saying that we had a lewd and lascivious case, that we lost our rights were terminated. Okay, well, that's the only true things that came out of his mouth, because I bet you he's pretty damn happy about that. But I mean, he said, and again, this is what got me started on the sovereign citizen thing, because in the statement to cops, he's saying that we're similar to sovereign citizens. I had to look it up. I wonder, what is he talking about? You know, it just doesn't even make sense. But these are the same people, law enforcement, I can tell you, that if they believe you're a sovereign citizen, the same thing that is very similar to these threat tags they're putting on people. Because in some aspect, they believe it's people that take things to court. And in their opinion, they take things to court too much. So people that want to, file claims in court and do things in a legal manner, which again, this is the only way we've done it. We don't break the law. We've tried to get it into a court and seek justice that way. That's the only way we've ever done. We're not violent people. We have big mouths. I'll give you that. We're if I could scream it on top of the mountaintop. I mean, and again, mountains, in my opinion, is a lot coming at me with mountains in my life the past few months. So, and then I went. I haven't been to a church in a very long time, because a lot of these things going on with church, I haven't been able to find one that I would totally agree with, of course, but I find it better just to find people that know a lot about the Bible and talk to them and have fellowship. And that is my main avenue. But when I went to the church, the message was pretty good. He was quoting some verses about going to mountains. I seen that movie, the second Joker 2. I mean, it's got a lot of bad reviews, guys. I don't know if you get you do Putlocker or PrimeWire, something like that, where you can stream movies. I recommend you watch that one. Okay, that really opened up my eyes to the reality of how victims are treated. Oh, and here's Chris, speak of the devil. He's probably thinking that I should wrap up the show. But why don't we let him just say hi?
At a Florida Department of Corrections institution.
Okay, if nobody believes our situation, there you go.
0.
There you have
to
it.
refuse this call, hit.
All right, and it's a different number
Your
than usual.
current balance is $12.
I'm going to hang up from the show in a minute so I can talk to Chris, okay?
This
But
call is from
I'll
a
see if he
correctional
wants to
facility
say anything.
monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Towing.
Wrapping up the show. If you want to say one thing, it's being wrapped up. I ran a little late. Any words for our viewers?
Freedom!
Again, okay. See, I was talking about the Mel Gibson thing, so that's
with every breath. A husband locked away for trying so hard. Brenda's heart took blow after blow. 15 years gone, but hope's a bright star. She showed the world what they didn't know. She's bringing it back, Brenda's new dawn. Living her life, singing her song. Starting over, no chains to bind. of mind. Now she's helping others rise and shine, teaching joy from a heart so kind. No looking back, just moving ahead. In her story, no tears are shed. From ashes, Brenda stands so tall. No one believed she'd break the wall, but now she's free, unbound and true. Brenda's living, showing what she can do. She's bringing it back, Brenda's new dawn. Living her life, singing her song. Starting over, no chains to bind. Loving it all, pure peace of mind.